A brief explanation of the four Dharmas of Gampopa by Khenpo Karten Rinpoche. Please bless the minds of all beings to turn towards Dharma. Please bless us that Dharma may become the actual path. Please bless us that our path may be cleared of delusion. Please bless us that delusion may arise as timeless wisdom. Each of these lines of the four Dharmas of Gampopa includes a request for blessings, but they are not just prayers. It is good if we do not leave them as prayerful aspirations alone, but also make them into a promise that having been transformed through blessings, I shall turn my mind towards the Dharma. I shall make Dharma the actual path. I shall clear the path of delusion. I shall make delusions arise as timeless wisdom, thus requesting blessings to actually accomplish these, just as the Kagyu lineage Lamas, Marpa, Milarepa, and Gampopa did. The incomparable Gampopa had many names: Dagpo Lhaje, Sonam Rinchen, and so on. He was called Gampopa because he lived in the foothills of Gampo Mountain. A Lama of the Kadam teachings, he was born in 1079 of the Western calendar and passed away in 1153. Just as all rivers meet back to the snow mountains, this peerless protector of living beings was the source of all four major and 8 secondary lineages of the Kagyu teachings. If you wish to know more about his life, please read the extensive biographies that are available elsewhere. Although Gampopa gave many teachings, those of which are most convenient for practice are classified in 3 categories: extensive, middling, and brief. The extensive one is the sacred Dharma, the wish-fulfilling jewel ornament of liberation. It is a scripture which, in essence, presents the entire basis, path, and result from the state of an ordinary being up to Buddhahood. It was the first Lam Rem, or stages of the path scripture, composed by a Tibetan Lama. The middling version is called the Jewel Garland of the Supreme Path. Between view and conduct, it is a scripture which mainly gives advice on conduct. It does not have very many pages. The brief form is the four Dharmas of Gampopa. It summarizes the meaning in a few words. It is very powerfully blessed. It includes the entire meaning of the basis, path, and result in 4 lines. It is convenient to practice and has many benefits. Here, I will give a brief explanation of each line of the 4 Dharmas of Gampopa for the benefit of beginners. First, though, I'd like to briefly say something about the problems that arise when the mind does not turn towards Dharma, and the benefits that arise when it does. Many people today are attracted to external wealth alone, and because of that, develop attitudes of competitiveness, jealousy, engage in killing, stealing, and so forth, committing nothing but the 10 non-virtuous actions as explained in the basic moral guidelines of Buddhism. Whenever people engage in these, they have no peace or happiness. Buddha gave a very simple summary of this. Do not commit any non-virtue. Persevere in perfect virtue. Fully subdue your own mind. This is the teaching of Buddha. If people would practice these 4 lines, or at least Think about them, and I don't just mean Buddhists. It would definitely bring peace and happiness to countries and nations, society and neighbors, as well as households and individuals. The world these days does not acknowledge those who are humble, honest, and truthful. Everyone seems to seek power, wealth, business, and so on, and they disregard the truth. Under these conditions, the superpower nations of the world voraciously compete with each other for nuclear weapons, and the happiness of the 8 billion people on the planet is in the hands of only a few people. It truly is a frightening time. If you think about it, this all comes down to people not being able to control their own minds. Even in the country of America, where I have sought refuge, there are serious problems with guns. Whenever gun violence occurs, people think guns are no good, and then the protests and movement for gun control grows. If people have love, compassion, and altruism in their minds, I think that it's impossible for them to ever commit such wretched acts. It is good to control access to guns, but it is even better if people would control their own minds with love and compassion. As for the benefits of the mind turning towards Dharma, people are not made good or bad from birth. Instead, their good or bad qualities develop from their environment, religion, friends, parents, and so on. In the case of Buddhism, for example, if a good Buddhist teacher is found, there is nothing more important. This is because receiving advice from a good teacher can definitely transform your life. Buddha is our first teacher, and in dependence upon his advice, the sacred Dharma he taught, the lives of many continue to be transformed for the better, even today. That is why I praise the kindness of Buddhist teachers as unrepayable. For our mind to move towards Dharma primarily depends upon having a Buddhist teacher. We can actually see many people accomplish powerfully positive actions when their minds turn towards Dharma. Examples in Buddhism include His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and in other religions there are great beings like Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and so on. Such spiritual people do tremendous good for our society. For our mind to really turn towards Dharma, we must be able to eliminate the delusions in our mind. If that happens, our mind has actually turned towards Dharma. If someone has the delusions of attachment, hatred, ignorance, pride, jealousy, and so forth, they will be considered a not-so-good person in society. If you wish to learn how to eliminate delusions from your mind completely, other than entering the path of Dharma and practicing it, there is no other method to learn. Apart from Buddhas, no one has eliminated delusions from the root. There definitely exists a method to lessen delusions in the mind. If delusions decrease, there will be more peace in the world. And if they increase, peace will be destroyed. This should be obvious to everyone. That concludes my brief comments on the respective benefits and problems that arise depending upon whether our minds turn towards Dharma or not. Now, I will explain each line of the 4 Dharmas of Gampopa.